Hey, hi, hello there, and welcome to another episode of An Anthropologist Discusses Mr. Snowflake's Amber Reid, Shaped by the Algorithm. I need a shorter title. If people would like to suggest a shorter title down in the comments section, I am open to suggestions. Real quick before we even get into what is going to be my episode 2 of episode 1, YouTube, for some strange reason, has decided to give the first video in this series limited monetization. I don't entirely know what that means exactly because they won't tell me why it's being monetized limitedly. But effectively what that does is it's a shadow ban. YouTube will not recommend the video to anyone. And even though they're still putting commercials on the video, don't get me wrong, it's not like they've not put commercials on my video. I just don't get any of the ad revenue from it. And if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, you will not know that the video exists. So no one outside of the subscribers and members of my channel will even know that I did a part 1 to this. So I've tried looking up the TOS for this and seeing if there's like some kind of hint on the video itself. All it tells me is that it's limitedly monetized, and basically that means I only get money from the memberships. So even my subscribers who aren't members, even if you watch the video, I don't get any credit for those views. That's not my problem. I mean, money's money, of course, everybody loves money, but really the problem for me is that my video is being penalized. I don't know why. I can't figure out why. No one will tell me why. I did put in a petition to have them review it, hopefully with a pair of human eyes, because I can't for the life of me figure out what they don't like. Kvetching aside, I'm going to try to make video 2. This is the second part of the reaction to the first episode. I'm guessing this is probably going to end up getting demonetized as well. Because reasons. Maybe someday I'll get to know why. I don't know. Maybe. But much like my me playing The Sims, I'm not expecting these videos to do well. And that's mainly because YouTube has decided to bury them for unspecified reasons. That aside, last episode, we got to about minute 16, so that's where we're going to be picking up in this episode. So as of my clock right this second, we're at 16:05. I do have the video sped up. I'm sorry to have to do that, sort of, kind of. I don't like watching things for recording purposes as fast as we're going to be watching this, but I also don't want to be 60 when I'm wrapping this series up, so there's that. My credentials: I am an anthropologist by training. I'm a retired archaeologist, and those are my creds. That's it. I do spend a lot of time talking about body language, especially in these videos. I've noticed in this video here, the first one, I spent a lot of time talking about body language. I expect to do it more here again because that is very interesting to me. I did have somebody make a comment of body language is unscientific or very woo-woo. My response to that, very respectfully, is body language is the first language. It's the first language that humans evolved. It's still the predominant form of communication between most animals. So body language is very much a language, and it's also very individualized. So there's that. Do I think people are going to be winning Nobel Prizes for their research into body language? Probably not. I don't see that happening. It might, but, in the long run, no, I don't really see that happening. But to dismiss body language as any form of analysis or even as a legitimate form of language is, I think, erroneous. My biggest defense for that is, we know what it looks like when people are incapable of reading body language. So it does create difficult situations for people who are not able to read a situation. And when we say that, what we're really saying is that these people have blindness towards body language. So when you're like, read a room, what are you really saying there? You're telling people to read the body language of their audience and to pick up on the fact that the body language of the audience is negative towards whatever the speaker is saying. And my partner is on the spectrum, and he has a difficult time reading a room And that causes some very entertaining sometimes and some very aggravating at times situations. For an outside observer, I can only imagine what it's actually like for him to go through these situations, because in his mind, he's not doing anything egregious. And sometimes people have gotten very irritated with him because he can't pick up on the body language. So body language is quite valid as a form of language, and is quite valid as a form of analysis. So there's my defense of the body language thing. I'm going to try to keep these videos at around an hour just for digestibility, and that's the other reason why I've sped these things up. So, yeah, I think that's everything we need to say. Let us jump in.
Despite the reasons or excuses why her weight wouldn't always go down, overall it was steadily dropping, and the weight should have begun to drop off even quicker when Amber was given an exercise machine, which she christened Nora. She planned on using Nora.
Okay. Personal aside, I hate ellipticals. I am a short girl with stubby legs and stubby arms. I cannot adjust these damn things in any way. I have tried several over the years. I cannot get one to fit me in a way that it doesn't feel like it's jerking my arms out of socket every time I try them. I hate these. I would rather walk on the Stairmaster for like 5 minutes than do this damn treadmill for one. It's not even a treadmill. This glider thing for 1 minute. But anyway, personal kvetching aside.
For 20 minutes every single day as part of her new 100 Days of Movement challenge she introduced.
See that? Remember, I said this is 2013. This is November or December. It might actually even be January of 2014. Either way, Amber has been doing 100-day challenges for 10 years. And not succeeding at them. See, at least when I do a challenge, I'm like 15 days. I can commit to 2 weeks. And even then, at the end of that 2 weeks, I was like, man, you guys, this was a mistake.
However, the challenge was almost over before it really began.
There we go.
The fact that I was ready to quit my 100 days of movement so soon.
To be snarky is typical Amber behavior, but to not be snarky, the fact that she's displaying that already, like this is her first recorded 100 days. I'm not saying it's the first time she's ever done it. It's just the first time she's recorded it for YouTube. Her first 100-day challenge, she failed it.
On day 6, because of a little, back pain that I can fight through, there are people in war. There are people out there starving. There are people, homeless people, that are out there.
There are homeless people, you guys. I'm going to turn this light off. I changed the lighting. Apologies. Let's back this up just a smidge. This face.
A little, back pain that I can fight through. There are people in war. There are people out there starving. There are people, homeless people, that are out there in below freezing temperatures. And I'm not.
What does any of that have to do with your back? What does any of that have to do with the price of tea in China? Economics are such a complicated and interconnected study. It probably does have something to do with that. Does anybody actually track the price of tea in China? Good God, focus.
I'm not going to get on the elliptical because my back hurts. Yeah, that's a big excuse.
But yet, it's day 6 and you still quit. Or did she not quit?
But rightfully got a lot of love for this. Wanting to quit, looking for excuses to stop, but persevering. Almost everyone who tuned into her videos could relate. But the fact that...
Do you see how... I know we point out how Amber waddles these days because she doesn't actually walk. She just shifts her weight from one leg to the next and just kind of like falls forward. That's how she actually walks. She's on an elliptical right now. The elliptical is mimicking how Amber walks today as exercise. Can you understand why that was so incredibly painful for me to do? Like, it literally hurt to do this. My knees would hurt, my shoulders would hurt, my elbows would hurt. This is like a torture device for me. Anyway, I'm not even really being that hyperbolic about it. It really did cause pain for me to use an elliptical, and it just blows my mind. It's a very popular exercise device, and it just blows my mind that people love using these things. Just like, how the hell do you do that?
Amber wouldn't be denied by her own negative thinking, held her in good stead with the fans. Overcoming an obstacle helps the audience root for you, and if they weren't rooting for her before, they certainly were now. So how did Amber do in her very next workout video?
I told you guys that my back is, you know, very bad. I wanted to so badly do my 100 days of movement with the elliptical. To sit here and say that I'm gonna have to say goodbye to Nora is honestly one of the most hardest videos I've had to make.
All right, going back on her body language thing, you can clearly tell from the way that her facial expressions are going, she's not actually that upset about it. So right here, this is a very common face that we see Amber do. And going back to ShivvyPop, if you haven't watched ShivvyPop, you should. I'll link ShivvyPop's channel. What the hell was that? I will link ShivvyPop's channel down in the description, but she does this whole like lie factory. Amber has a lie factory. And what Shivvy means by that is when Amber starts to lie, she cuts her eyes to the side here. I remember now that the camera's flipped, okay? So if that's... nah. To the left side. She cuts her eyes to the left side. But it's in a certain space. Like if she looks down too low, then she's in a different space. If she looks up too high, she's in a different space. It has to be, I think it's like almost directly across. I'll have to watch a ShivvyPop. I'll have to watch a ShivvyPop episode with you guys sometime. Just so you guys can see what I'm seeing. Anyway, she's lying, is my point. I'm going to turn the sound off real quick. See, and then she looked down before she looked back up. She's smiling. She's got that duper's delight going on. Her eyes are even all shady. This is not the face of someone who's sorrowful. And then the whole... that, yeah. See, we still got the duper's delight going on. This is that blank stare that Amber gets. I call it her resetting. This is when like she's doing just exactly what I'm doing. She's trying to think of what she's going to say next because it's not natural, whatever she's getting ready to say. And I still say, she had the cutest little nose. Look at her nose. It is just the cutest. I'm sorry if you don't agree with me. She got the cutest little nose. She doesn't anymore, but she used to have the cutest little nose. And see, now she's checking herself out in the viewfinder. Looking down again.
One of the most hardest videos I've had to make. When I started the 100 days of movement, I did not have a burning hip.
Wow, imagine quitting a fitness program so quickly.
I will give Amber this, because I did rant about how I am very uncomfortable on ellipticals. I will say she might be like me, because I know she's almost exactly... no, she's 2 inches taller than me. It probably is very uncomfortable for her as well, because I just don't think the ellipticals were made for short people, like short people. So that's my theory, is that the elliptical doesn't work well for short people. If you are a short person and the elliptical works quite well for you, let me know. I hate them. That being said, Amber says her back hurts. She says her hip burns. Yeah, it's Amber. She could be just kind of being Amber. And this is just the earliest examples we have online of her coming up with ailments and as excuses for why she quit doing something, particularly something physical. It is incredibly common. And it's also why she gets no sympathy these days when she does things like that, and why people are constantly making fun of her dangling ankle and that kind of stuff. Does it mean she's not actually experiencing these things? No. It just means she's constantly using some kind of form of physical discomfort as an excuse for why she can't do something. But much like the Amber of today, she honestly starts off expecting to fail or planning to fail. Amber doesn't plan to win. Amber plans to fail, which is why Amber always fails. Amber likes to plan. She'll put that out there. She's always got a new plan, but she never follows through. And I truly honestly believe she always expects to fail. So she never pushes herself to not fail.
Amber had told us she was going to do 100 days of movement. No ifs, ands, or buts. But she didn't manage to last a full week before stopping. Or, as one viewer put it, that she was quitting.
That's an interesting little scene. We're never getting through this. I want you guys to watch her rotate again. I'm going to turn the sound off because I want you to just see what she's doing. I'm actually going to slow it down again. Things to look at here. Her posture. Amber doesn't have the best posture, but if we draw a line from her shoulder through to her hip, down to her knees, she has, for her, very upright, erect posture here. All right. Even though she's got her head tipped to one side, she's looking down. And her mouth looks like it's either at a neutral set or a down set. But this is not the posture of someone who is displeased or who is ashamed. Okay? This is not how someone who's ashamed of themselves or what they're displaying, this is not the posture of that. If anything, now my posture is better than hers in general, so. Because my posture is perfect. Anyway. Even, honestly, to put myself in the posture that she's in, I kind of have to lean. Dang, man. That hurts my neck. Anyway. Now watch her turn. She's trying to make it look like she's like, oh my God, you guys, look at my horrible, hideous body. But it's not, her posture's too erect for that. And I swear she's got a little bit of a smirk on her face. Her shoulders really are off, though. I wonder if she's got scoliosis. She's got this one shoulder that's all the hell the way down here, and this one's all the way the hell up here. We're not going to talk about that. That's all adipose, so it's not helpful. But even then, getting over here, knowing that this shoulder is higher than the shoulder on the other side, she's still got pretty erect posture. My point is just she's not hunched over. Like, when you feel defeated or even just tired, the first thing that goes is your posture. And you're like, you round your shoulders and you put your shoulders forward, you tip your head back because this is this is a neutral, comfortable position. Or when you see people walk, they'll have their head, I'm over exaggerating, but they'll have their shoulders rolled forward and their head down. Whenever you see somebody and you see your friend or something, you're like, man, you look really tired. The reason you think that typically is because their shoulders will be forward and rounded and down. Their head will be kind of at a forward tilt, or it'll be in the back, and they'll probably have like that 9-mile stare in their face, but in their eyes, But this is not the posture of somebody who actually feels bad about what they're displaying. And see how she's like making eye contact with the camera as she comes around there? She's like, look at me, kind of a thing. See, she has really, all honesty, I will compliment her. She has good posture for someone who's 300 pounds and like 3 feet tall. But she's still got that head tilt. And the head tilt is not typically something that you do when you're tired or ashamed. This is like a kind of a posture, like, come at me, bro, kind of a thing, except the chest is usually thrust forward, so, But the head tilt is not typically you don't do this when you're ashamed or when you're sad or when you're, this isn't typically a thing that you do. You're not like, unless you're playing it up, Usually when you're sad or ashamed, you don't want to look at the camera. You would not come around the corner and be making eye contact with her. That's for damn sure. You're doing your best to not look at the camera. You don't want to look at yourself. And then we go and we do, watch her face here. Now we really do see it. We've got the smile, we've got the duper's delight. Her eyebrows went up, her eyes crinkled up. She didn't even tuck her head. Does this look like somebody? Okay, I'm way excited. I got crazy eyes going. But does this look like somebody who's ashamed or disappointed or shy? Crazy eyes. Trying to get my eyes the same way. I don't think I can. My eyes are too big. You know, it's not kind of like, there you go. This is it. This is me. How many times have you guys seen me make that face? It is what it is. This isn't the same face.
Clearly, I'm not quitting. People every single
This is not the face of someone who's sincere. This is not a sincere face.
day change their exercise routine. Sometimes you'll do the treadmill. Sometimes you'll do the
See, she keeps coming over here.
elliptical. Sometimes you'll walk outside. Sometimes you'll do weights. Sometimes you'll go
The fact that her eyes are... Keeping in mind she is sped up. Her eyes are all over the damn place.
swimming. So just because I'm changing my workout, how does that mean I'm quitting? That is
She doesn't... I don't know how to explain that
really
one.
confusing to me. I'm not sure
She's not really confused. She's not confused at all. She's being confrontational here.
why this person, even has a time of day to watch my videos and only comment negatively. And
Ah, we're lecturing. That's what's going on. That makes it all make sense. Lecture Lynn is in the room.
honestly shows that this person has no life.
Like the whole, I'm so much better than you. How dare you even criticize me? Even though I'm the one that read your comment and I could have just easily skipped over it. Trust me, I do it all the time.
Whatsoever. Than to come and watch my videos and be very rude.
And then to come to watch my videos.
I don't understand.
She's disgusted. Oh, I'm so sorry. It doesn't like when I make that noise. Poor baby has such a hard life. You okay? Gonna be alright? Gonna make it? The dirty look I'm getting.
If someone wanted to call me a quitter and I was actually quitting. But what I think makes this even more funny.
How dare you call me a quitter? The audacity. And then this face right here. How many times have we seen this exact face?
And especially towards this person, is that, you know what? This is just my
See what did I tell you? Bring it, bro. Bring it. Bring it.
movement revamped and shaped into something that is better for me because I was listening to my body and I was listening to my health and I was listening to doctors. And I feel like
She went to a doctor? Uh-huh.
that's more important. And this person can call me a quitter all they want, when in reality, I've just started.
I don't know what she adjusted it to, so I guess we'll find out in a second. But if it's true that she did adjust it, which I don't believe at all, yeah, we'll see.
Amber was now looking forward to proving the haters and doubters wrong. She carried on her 100 days of movement, but rather than use Nora, she instead opted for something easier. Chair exercises, lifting her legs off the ground while sat down, moving her arms while sat down. Something where she wouldn't hurt herself like on her exercise machine. So after trying her new, easier workout a couple of times, how was it going?
I don't know if I pulled a muscle or if I sprained a bone.
Okay. Sorry. Talking about the whole, sprained a bone. Alright, cool. It's too easy. I'm gonna let it go.
I'm not a doctor. I have no idea.
But I know better than doctors. Sorry, that's modern Amber. I don't know if young Amber was like this. Maybe.
It hurts so bad to even just walk, to bend it, to move, to sit, to stand. It is literally aching. So,
She's lying. Wow. Okay, watching ShivvyPop, actually it was a brilliant idea because, wow, she is straight up making this shit up. Look, she's smiling. She's got herself down in her quick vamp look. I wasn't watching to see if her eyes were cutting over. I think I just picked up on it. But
I don't know what to do. The only
oh, there we go. I don't know what to do. Boonk. Lie Factory. Right back here to vamp. Lie.
thing
Vamp.
I do know what to do is to put my movement on hold.
Lie.
So my bad news is there's no movement. It's not fair. I was really enjoying these videos and
Lie.
it just makes me sad. So I can't handle
Okay, so you notice with that one, she did cut her eyes over, but she looked up. That's different. That is a different, I don't remember what that is, but that's a different thing for her. She'll also do one where she swoops her eyes down here, all the way down. That's different. You do have to keep in mind the position of her head. Right now she's looking at us straight on, so it's very easy to see, but when she's got her head tilted down, you got to keep in mind the eyes are still going in the same directions, they're just pointed differently because of her head tilt.
Negative comments, so please, people, please, don't leave them. I can't.
See, okay, she's not... Comments are turned off. We're going up. Her eyes are going up
because
here.
I'm already sad enough. I feel very...
This is near the Lie Factory.
let down. I know this isn't my fault, so I can't be mad at myself.
Fans needn't have worried though. Amber had a new plan up her
That is a cute necklace. I'd wear the hell out of that necklace.
sleeve. She'd grown up loving dancing, even winning multiple talent competitions, and her dancing would be the key, she told us, in beating this stubborn weight. And clearly, her skills hadn't abandoned her.
Okay, so before we get into Amber's stellar dance skills, Amber is constantly talking about how she used to dance and how she was in a dance group and all of this stuff. I don't disbelieve that. I really don't. You can be a fairly large person in a dance club. I myself was one of them. I used to dance, you guys. I have proof of mine, but anyway, as an adult, I was in ballet, and as a child, I was in ballet. And there's a very funny recital video of me as a very small child, and like apparently all of the other little children would go to the left, and I would be going to the right. And all of the other little children would go to the right, and I would go to the left. Not because I was supposed to, but because I literally didn't know my left from my right. I was very small. But that is my first and I believe last recital as a child. So my point is since she has been telling this dance company story for 10 years now. It's not over. We're not over 10 years yet. Since she's been telling this dance company story for 10 years now, there is truth in it. What that exact truth is, I don't know. I know people are going to be like, oh, there's this one person this one time who got on Kiwi Farms or the Reddit or something and claimed to be someone who knew Amber from back when she was like a child and yada, yada, yada. Cool. That's not good enough for me. I'm sorry. I'm very skeptical of semi-anonymous information on the internet. Just FYI. That's why when people come at me with certain things, I'm just kind of like, okay, no one questioned this. No one went, hey, wait a minute, can you prove any of it? Beyond just saying, hey, I was there. Okay, but that's my thing. Please don't. Please keep that in mind anytime you guys are like, hey, did you hear this one? There's been a lot of situations where that's happened, and I'm not necessarily taking Amber's side on things. I'm just not taking that evidence either. So, that being said, Amber's had a consistent story of this dance thing for 10 years. That tells me there's some kernel of truth there. I'm not entirely sure exactly what that kernel of truth is, because it could also be Amber has just simply told this very same story for so long that she has the details down, and so she doesn't waver in the details either. So it could also be part of Amber's fantasy world that Amber exists in. Amber, I stand by this, not a doctor. Amber has a fantasy world that she has created for herself. It's probably some form of defense mechanism considering her life and her childhood. But this could be a story that she created in that fantasy world that has become a true story for her because she has repeated it so many times. We're so cute. Sorry, my cat's being adorable.
The vast majority of viewers, though, just thought Crystal was kinda boring, and although she didn't appear in many videos at all, when she did appear, it was usually worth the wait.
Amberlynn, why did the cow cross the road?
Why did the cow cross the road, Crystal?
It was utterly lost.
Sorry, that's not funny. This is so funny. Ooh, sorry, that's so funny. It's utterly lost. This is the way she delivers it. It was utterly lost. Crystal, you missed a calling. Look, it's how she delivered it, okay? It was utterly lost. Stop it.
We may not have been seeing as much of Crystal as we were Amber, but like I say, Crystal was very shy. So thankfully Amber wouldn't do anything to embarrass her on camera.
Okay, to be fair, leading up to this scene, Amber does seem to like Crystal in the video, in these little clips that we've had so far. I wasn't here for the Crystal era, so I didn't, and I'm probably not going to go back and like rewatch everything with a fine-tooth comb, if at all. But in the clips that he's showing here, and the other clips that I have seen, Amber does seem to genuinely like Crystal. So there's that. Compared to how I've seen her act around other girlfriends.
Crystal's getting them tampons. You go, girl. Get it, get it, get it.
She's getting the gentle glide playtex. So you need that gentle glide.
I think this is me getting on a political soapbox here, so feel free to skip this section if you would like. There's nothing wrong with filming yourself buying feminine aids, and I don't think there should be any shame in filming other people. I mean, I would hope Crystal gave some kind of consent here, which that's questionable. But I think the whole idea that, in general, the larger idea that showing feminine products on camera or on film or on television is somehow embarrassing or shameful or whatever other negative emotion you want to attach to it, I think is bad, because there's nothing shameful or wrong, and there shouldn't be anything embarrassing about feminine products, because it's something that happens to over 50% of the population on a monthly basis, or at least damn near close to 50% of the population on a monthly basis. So I don't think that there should be a stigma wrapped around that. And I think by implying that there's embarrassment and that there's shame somehow wrapped up in showing someone purchasing feminine products on camera, I think is just perpetuating that whole concept that this thing that the majority of the world's population does is somehow wrong. But that's me on a soapbox, so we can agree to disagree, but do I want to sit here and have a 9-minute conversation about my monthly visitor? No, I don't. Am I going to scold, shame, or belittle someone who does? Absolutely not. Will I watch it? I don't know. Are you funny? Is there some tip I'm going to pull away from this that's going to make my monthly visit easier? Maybe. You see what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with it, and I don't think I think implying that there is something wrong with showing people buying products is somehow shameful or inherently wrong is damaging. Now, all of that being said, does Amber have absolutely no concept of boundaries? Yes. Is it highly likely that Crystal didn't want this to happen? I will not be surprised if that were indeed the case. So here, I'm sure we're criticizing Amber's behavior more than the actual thing itself, but I also think that Snowflake could have picked a different scene to use. Just because Mr. Snowflake finds this uncomfortable as a scene does not mean that it is uncomfortable or that it should be perceived that way. Okay. Feminist rant over. Proceed.
Crystal and Amber seemed very happy together, and Amber seemed to be enjoying living with her and her parents and their chubby dogs and cats. A real little family. Everything was going well. Perhaps a little too well.
It is cute. Don't feed your dogs table scraps. It is adorable. Don't feed your dogs table scraps. Don't feed your cats table scraps.
Amber got a little too comfortable, and she started to do less weigh-in videos. Many people had been watching her to see her either succeed or fail at her weekly or even sometimes daily weigh-in videos.
I think you really kind of hit the nail on the head there, though, with that one. Amber became too comfortable. And we've seen this happen with her girlfriends in the future, going forward, where she cleans herself up. She polishes up her personality. She puts on a show of being a positive, quirky, likable person for her girlfriends. And it's incredibly evident. I mean, it's like night and day. And then once she becomes comfortable, well, she love bombs the hell out of her girlfriends. And then once she becomes comfortable or she becomes secure in the relationship, stuff goes downhill. Suddenly the girlfriend is now the cause of problems, and there's little snide comments, and Amber stops bathing, and she stops putting her hair up and doing her makeup and wearing nice clothes and putting effort forward. I'm not saying you're not allowed to have an off day. You're allowed to have an off month. But the cycle of Amber putting on a new personality, love bombing, and then slowly sliding from there into it's their fault, it's all their fault, they make me feel like crap, blah 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 blah, and then eventually the relationship ends for some strange reason. For some reason, people don't like being the source and the cause of all of your problems, and so they leave. Life lessons.
But without them, Amber began to focus more and more on vlogs. Many of her videos were titled Life with Amberlynn, followed by whatever the date was.
And see, this also tells me that Amber has always wanted to be a vlogger, not a weight loss channel. She just saw an opportunity with her weight and the possibility of weight loss as an in, but she can't stick to it because Amber. And really the real goal was to create a lifestyle vlog so that it would be the Amber show, not the watch me lose weight show. Which again also feeds back into my whole idea that Amber never actually intended to lose weight. I don't think Amber intended to gain weight either. But I don't think Amber ever actually intended to lose weight. I think Amber wanted to go through the motions of losing weight and getting healthy so that it looked like she was doing something and so that people would like tell her how awesome she is. But she never actually intended to actually lose weight. She just wanted a vlog. She wanted to have a lifestyle vlog, which is what she should have started it at. Would she be as popular today? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know. Glitter and Lasers manages it, and so does Alexander Rodriguez. And frankly, both of them are about as dry as toast. Like dry as burnt toast, no butter, no jam, just burnt ass toast. They are boring people. I'm so sorry to be like that, but it is a labor to watch their videos.
But the problem Amber had is that she didn't have much of a life to film.
So here's the sink, Avi, dishwasher, Avi, and counter. Okay, so we have all these little things right here. And then this drawer.
Drawers? You have all these drawers right here? What are we doing? What is happening?
Is actually for all like the towels and stuff. And we use those for everything. Wipe off counter, wipe off our hands, dry dishes and stuff like that.
To be fair, back in the day, Rock Band was the game. All right. The coloring book thing, I don't know. Even my therapist recommended it to me, so I can't really slam it too hard. It is interesting that she's been doing it this long. 10 years ago, were there adult coloring books? I don't know. I feel like the answer is no, and that if there weren't many. She does have nice handwriting, though. I will give her that. So my defense for the coloring thing is that she didn't have an adult coloring book to color, so she had to do a kid's book. I don't know. I'm trying to be nice here. I feel this. If you're not reading this, if you're listening, for our listening audience at home, the text on screen says, okay, if you get the joke by now, this coloring in the video lasts 11 minutes! Exclamation mark! And because of all of the editing I do, I've watched this video 6 effing times. If any of you leave a dislike, you are dead to me. For the listening audience at home, the text on screen says, you know what? I've had to suffer watching this, so now you lot do now. And then he says, actually, no, I'm sorry. I can't do that to you people. This is too boring. Instead, here's a video of Jimmy Bunker looking for Bigfoot. We should go Bigfoot hunting, you guys. I'm going to take you guys Bigfoot hunting. That is going to be so much
You guys can
fun.
tell we like to color. It's just fun sometimes.
Shut up!
Do they have Bigfoot in Britain? Y'all have Bigfoot there? We got him here in Pennsylvania.
This went on for some time, Amber filming things she found interesting, but hardly anybody else did. And her views began to reflect this. People clearly tuned in for either her weigh-in videos or her discussing her weight loss journey. Eventually, Amber began to realize this herself.
At first when I was making the videos of everything I was eating, you guys were freaking loving that.
Yes, because it was a weight loss
Absolutely
channel.
loving that.
But when you start yourself off as a weight loss channel and you say, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you what I eat and show you how I work out, and then you stop doing that.
Realizing people wanted her videos to be about her weight and not her f***ing colouring in, Amber went back to focusing on weight loss.
I really want to follow through on 100 days of weight loss, and this book, I think it could really help me. And with so I actually set myself a goal last night to lose 100 pounds by August 15th. That's like 3 months away. It makes me nervous because that's a lot of weight for me to lose in such a short amount of time.
So this is another thing that she does fairly regularly. So this would be the next 100 days, the second 100 days challenge. I'm going to lose count of these eventually, but this is number 2. However, she's also set herself a semi-unreasonable goal for herself. And that's another thing that we see Amber do a lot.
Amber got a new book that was all about weight loss, and she was convinced it would help her. She would even read chapters aloud in her videos. With this new book in hand, Amber gave herself just 3 months to lose 100 pounds overall, as she had lost a little weight on her own before she started to upload to YouTube. Although we don't have any video of this, of course, so we just have to take her word for it. She said she was only 37 pounds away from losing 100 pounds in total. At the time, she weighed in at 358 pounds. It should have been a realistic goal. But the problem was that anytime Amber was feeling bad, she would eat more than she should. And the more videos she uploaded to her channel, the more negative comments she received.
So that right there really just establishes the cycle that Amber still has today, where she plans, she sets these unrealistic goals, she doesn't really have... She thinks she plans. She doesn't really have a plan going forward for success, which falls back on my idea that she self-sabotages. She plans to fail. She self-sabotages. And then she gets hate for it because people get frustrated or they're just in general jerks. We can't rule out people who are legitimately just buttheads. Those people exist, okay? Those people aren't who we're talking about when we're talking about people who are criticizing Amber. But she'll fail to succeed. She'll get criticism for it. She'll internalize the criticism and ignore any of the positive comments she'll get. She gets frustrated, blames the audience, blames everyone else except herself, and then dips back into an unhealthy lifestyle cycle that persists until she once again gets some kind of idea that she's going to go do a new challenge, a new 100 days, a new whatever. And then the cycle just kind of repeats. Rinse, lather, repeat. Or lather, rinse, repeat. It's fun being me. Dyslexia is fun, you guys. You think it's just letters. You think it's just letters, or it's just numbers, or it's just reading. It's
Amber,
not.
at one stage, thought the vast majority who watched her videos were rooting for her, or watched her because they liked her. But slowly, she began to understand this was simply not the case.
Everybody, I am very frustrated right now. As you can tell, my face is
She's upset. She
probably
is
red.
upset.
My eyes are probably red.
I love this whole like, I've been crying, you guys. Look at how much I've been crying. Look! Even though there's no evidence of her crying.
I have people bothering me, and now someone's telling me that their exact words in a comment on here is, someone you speak with regularly is telling people she is going to contact the publisher of the book you're reading for reading it on YouTube. Be careful, you have more haters than you think you do. Sorry for the clicking. Crystal is currently playing Rock Band, I guess.
Crystal's ruining my video. Damn it, Crystal. How do I feel about this? I think the person who's threatening to call the publisher and let them know that Amber was reading chapters of the book online is being a D-bag. So, mind your P's and Q's. No one cares! So, that person, I think, was just in general being a jerk. Amber, sometimes I feel like, because this isn't okay, let's take that back. This is the first time that's happened, but it's not the last time this exact situation has happened. Because I remember she was reading some book not too long ago. It was during the Becky era, so not terribly long ago. And she was reading excerpts from it. And somebody was saying in the comments section, "Oh, I'm going to tell the publisher on you." And she similarly freaked out. I think Amber's terrified of getting in trouble, which is interesting. I just had that realization. But Amber's terrified of getting in trouble with an actual authority figure, which I think is why this kind of stuff tends to set her off and freak her out more, because the idea that somebody might come down on her with legal action for something, I think it genuinely does cause her anxiety. We saw this with the adult actress whose name also happens to be Amberlynn, who got tired of being added on accident by people who aren't paying attention, and they were talking about our Amberlynn, and they were adding the adult actress Amberlynn, and so instead of just letting it go, she sent Amber a cease and desist or something like that, but basically threatened to sue Amber over the name, which you can't do, by the way. But it doesn't mean you can't take it to court, because until the judge throws it out, I guess it can still go forward. So, I mean, there is still the potential that someone can be like, no, I'm going to take this in front of a judge. And you are still then responsible for getting a lawyer, representing yourself, making it to wherever the case is being heard or what have you. I mean, it's still expenses on your end, even though in the end it's going to get thrown out because it's just not something that you can actually do anything about. It'd be like me finding the other person whose name is the same as mine, who exists, by the way, and being like, I'm the first one. I'm suing you because you're publishing papers with my name on it. It would be ridiculous. It would just be ridiculous. But anyway, Amber does get very nervous when actual authority gets thrown in her face. So I'm sure this did cause her quite a bit of distress, because I know when it happened in the Becky era, I don't remember exactly when it was. If somebody else is paying more attention than me, let me know. But she had a similar reaction to it then as well. Legally, should you be reading excerpts from published books online like that? No, I don't think so. But again, fair use covers quite a bit. And I would not be terribly surprised if her reading excerpts of the book in her videos did not actually fall under fair use. Especially, it could be argued that it was being used for the same crap we're doing here. It's still technically transformative, I guess. It's about as transformative as us reacting to her videos, in my opinion. So, would she have actually been in any kind of trouble? Probably not. The worst that probably would have happened is the publisher would have sent her something saying, please stop doing that. And then all she had to do was quit doing it. Anyway, people who threaten that kind of stuff for petty crap like that irritate me. Because it really can fall under fair use very easily. And if Amber had a head on her shoulders, she probably could have figured that out. But
there's people behind my back who want to go to the publisher, the author. I mean, it disgusts me that I have people watching my videos that dislike me, and to want to contact an author to get me in trouble, which I didn't know this was some bad thing, is absolutely shocking to me. So, I mean, I'm gonna stop reading it. Don't fucking worry to the person who wanted this to happen. Don't worry, you got your way. Sometimes I'm this close to just saying, I'm not strong enough for YouTube. I don't
It's interesting that this has been happening for 10 years as well. This whole like, I'm going to take my ball and go home. You guys don't appreciate me enough. I'm going to quit. Okay. I mean, at this point, of course, this is early. This is still early. Are we in 2014 yet? I'm confused. I'm assuming we
have
are.
that tough skin like I thought. And I'm just, I mean, I can handle.
Dude, she has chewed on her nails forever. Okay, so that is an ongoing habit of hers that she has never gotten over.
Nothing with my life. I can handle people saying, oh, you need a job. I can handle all of that. Oh, you shouldn't eat Doritos because they have carbs. But the fact that someone wants to go that hardcore into trying to get me in trouble, there are like 1 or 2, maybe 3 people who are a little freaky and creepy when it comes to stalking and just kind of being rude.
Amber really needed to toughen up if she was going to survive on YouTube. Every
I'm trying to decipher her body language during that one. There were some interesting tics there that normally would lead me to lying, but what would she be lying about?
YouTuber has to deal with trolls at some point. She was only a small channel, and compared to the bigger channels like PewDiePie, the few she got she clearly didn't like, and it wasn't like the majority of the negative comments she received were really bad. They simply pointed out that a weight loss channel, where the person never loses weight, is a bit silly. We've seen many people go crazy dealing with haters and trolls online. Only time would tell if Amber
Is it fair to compare her to Chris Chan? And I only know who that is now thanks to Mr. Snowflake and like one other, or I think a Megyan. And I really wish I didn't know who he was. I really, really do. Like, those are moments of my life that I really wish I could have back. You know, that whole, I missed 5 seconds ago when I didn't know this kind of a thing. But is it really fair to compare her to Chris Chan? Because he is, I guess I should say they is special. They is very special. Sorry. So am I, apparently. One thing I will say is I don't like when anybody says Amber's comments aren't that bad. Amber's comments are terrible. Amber's comments have, and I will say this about any of the girls I follow, like Glitter and Lasers, for the most part, I will see very positive stuff in Glitter and Lasers comments, which is fine. But every now and then, hell, even in like Beatrice Caruso, who I watch, who I adore, there are absolute crap comments in her comment section too. So I don't like when people sit there and go, oh, the comments aren't that bad. Yeah, they kind of are though. Just because A, you don't like her, and B, you agree with the majority of the criticism, because there is genuine criticism. I'm not going to say there isn't. Doesn't mean that the comments that are actually horrible aren't actually horrible.
would be one of those people, but she definitely needed to toughen up, or at least stop letting the trolls know how much they were affecting her.
That right there is the point. Don't feed the trolls. Please don't feed the trolls. If you don't know who that is,
At first, her videos were supposed to be Amber being accountable for her weight loss. That was the point of the channel. But now, Amber was asking people to just like her.
And please, like my video. Let me know you care and you're there and you like me. Okay? Bye. I think more than anything,
you like me. You really like me.
I feel like for someone to be accepted and liked, you need to be yourself and you need to be able to be open with people. And I think that's why I put myself out there so much, and I'm completely myself. Because I don't like, fake people. I don't like to be, disliked. I don't want to be.
The more and more videos she made, the clearer it became that she wanted people to like her more than she wanted to lose weight.
Yes. I think that's the point I've been trying to make this whole time, is Amber wants to be liked on the internet and has never had an intention of actually losing weight. Oddly, and unfortunately, not realizing that if she had actually done the weight loss thing successfully, even with a couple false starts, nobody does anything perfectly right off the bat, okay? But if she had eventually managed to do the weight loss, she would have been that admired and liked figure that she desperately actually wants to be, that inspirational big sister, older cousin who gives us advice and gives us their knowledge and bequeaths us with their sagery. I'm making things up at this point, but the irony is, if Amber had actually done the weight loss successfully, she would be that liked and admired figure on YouTube that she desperately wants to be. Even to this day, she just genuinely wants people to like her, to tell her how cool she is, to quote unquote respect her, and to see her as some kind of authority figure. And if 10 years ago she had actually started to successfully lose weight, she would be that figure today.
She had only been on YouTube around 6 months at this point, but already it was all getting a little much for her.
I am just feeling stressed and I don't want to
I hate that necklace so goddamn much. I can't express to you how much I hate that necklace.
bring in like the haters on my channel because there's only like 2.
Hey! 6 months in! Haters! Alright, now we know when that started. So 6 months from November... Let's do this. Give me a second. November, December, January, February, March, April. So since April of 2014, or I should say, April of 2014, hater was coined.
Or at least for right now. So what I'm trying to say is I'm just gonna take a break from this whole YouTube thing.
The break she figured would cool the trolls off, and it would be good for her mental health. It was a very good idea by Amber. Nothing is worth ruining your mental health, especially words on a computer screen. So how much of a break did she give herself? Well, it was only 3 days. 3 days may not seem like a big break, but to be fair to Amber, she did tell us if she had anything important to say, she would make a video.
It's interesting to me that both her and Foodie Beauty, who I do not watch and will not watch, when they take their breaks, Chantel's aren't even 24 hours from what I understand from people. Amber's, to be fair, Amber doesn't even tell us when she's taking a break anymore. Like, as of right now, I think she's been gone for almost a week again. And that was after giving us, what, 2 whole videos after being gone for a week then. So this spotty video thing, I know it's around the time that she's moving and she's having relationship issues again. But when she declares that she's going to take a break, they tend to be very short. And when she doesn't tell us she's going to take a break, they tend to be fairly long. ShivvyPop did point something out. Now, keep in mind, ShivvyPop's last video on Amber was like 3 or 4 years ago at this point. But ShivvyPop did point out that when the heat or when Amber needs a good distraction, Amber will drop off the planet for a extended amount of time simply to drive up speculation about what has happened or where she is. Because there does get to be a point where we're just like, is she still part of the living? Should we be sending flowers somewhere? I mean, is there a parlor somewhere that requires me to send a plant? Because for her, it's a very real possibility. Maybe not at this weight, but at her weight today, the longer she's gone, the more people will start to speculate about whether she's coming back. I guess I should put it that way.
So, what was so important? She just had to make a video.
Lately I've been peeing like I'm a horse. I know that's probably TMI, but I'm just like peeing all the time and I cannot stop.
But it wasn't just her toilet habits that Amber needed to share with her audience. In the same video, Amber let everyone know that it was going really well not uploading.
And yeah, I am just doing really good. And video on just how I'm doing and just kind of say hi to you guys. It feels very weird not to be filming. Always.
So it's also very interesting to me that her parasocial relationship with her audience started basically from the beginning. Because what's really happening here, this is a really cool pause, by the way. What's really happening here is that Amber got lonely. Because Amber has, at this point, this is April, May-ish of 2014, Amber is already identifying her social circle as the internet. The faceless internet. So being gone for 3 days, basically for her meant that she had cut herself off from her social circle and she was lonely, effectively. So this is this I'm going to continue to call it a parasocial relationship that she has with her audience, not the other way around. This started early. So this was an early trait.
So obviously there has been, you know, a few obstacles in my way, just as always, but I've conquered them and I've passed through them and I'm happy. I'm in a really good spot and I'm feeling really, really proud of myself.
Okay, we are going to wrap up with Amber feeling very positive about herself, mainly because Kicking Geese is live and I want to go watch that, and secondly because this video has gotten fairly long and I still have to edit it. So, if you have made it this far in the video, please be sure to put a snowflake down in the comments section. I think we're just going to run with snowflakes, and then be sure to leave a comment. And yeah, hopefully this one won't get demonetized. So even if it does, please be sure to leave a like if you are enjoying this. And again, thank you to my subscribers and my members, because you're pretty much the only ones supporting this video if it gets demonetized. Joy. But yeah, don't forget to leave a like. Don't forget to put a snowflake down in the comments section. Don't forget to leave a comment down in the comments section. And I will see all of you in the next one. Bye!